who's a student at University of Utah, and she started dating this guy there who's like a bad person.
Okay.
And she found out he's a bad person, and she broke up with him, and he has her car. Yes, he was lying to her, and he's actually a sexual offender. I don't want her to go there by herself and have like something bad happen to her.
On October 22nd, 2018, a bright young life was brutally taken away on the grounds of the University of Utah. Lauren, a track star and honor student, had so much to look forward to until a former lover's obsession turned deadly. Her tragic fate, unfolding in the middle of a campus she had once called home, exposed serious flaws in how universities handle reports of abuse and violence. What went wrong in the days leading up to Lauren's death, and how did a system meant to protect her ultimately fail? Let's jump into the details.
Lauren was a wonderful person, an excellent student, and a dedicated member of our track and field team. She showed a relentless drive to improve every day over the last 3.5 years and was always kind and supportive of her teammates. Off the field, she was known as a woman with many friends, always smiling and saying hi to those in her dorm.
Lauren McCluskey was born on October 17, 1997, in Novato, California, to parents named Matt and Jill McCluskey. She was the third of 4 children in the McCluskey family, and her early years were marked by a close-knit family environment.
She says, it feels like I'm bothering them because she was calling so much. And then I remember telling her, it's their job to listen to you, you know, if you're complaining.
But they weren't listening.
No, they weren't. They weren't taking her seriously.
Lauren was known for her intelligence, athleticism, and ambition. Growing up, she was an incredibly driven young woman with a passion for sports, particularly track and field. She excelled in high school as a track athlete, earning numerous accolades and recognition for her athletic ability. At Novato High School, Lauren stood out as a high-achieving student and a leader. She was involved in a range of extracurricular activities, from sports to volunteering, which showcased her commitment to helping others and striving for excellence. Her peers and coaches often described her as a kind, hardworking, and humble individual, someone who made an impact on everyone she met.
She was so excited to sing, she was just happy, and the courage she had, I was like so impressed by it. Like, it's not everyone who has this kind of courage, you know.
Her impressive athletic career led her to pursue a spot at the University of Utah, where she earned a scholarship to join the university's track and field team. There, she specialized in high jump, a discipline that she excelled at during her time at the university. As a student athlete, Lauren was dedicated to her sport, spending countless hours training and working on improving her performance. She was known for her discipline and focus, not just in athletics, but in her academic pursuits as well. Lauren was studying communications at the University of Utah, and she had big plans for her future. She was a highly capable student with aspirations of making a significant impact in the world.
At the U, and also received all academic recognition for Pac-12 in Mountain Pacific Sports Federation last year. Her senior year, the 21-year-old excelled with season best marks in the high jump.
Lauren's life was full of promise, and she was on a path to achieve her dreams. She was known for her positive attitude and strong work ethic, traits that set her apart as someone who was destined for greatness. In addition to her athletic abilities and academic ambitions, Lauren was deeply compassionate, and her kindness was apparent in her relationships with others. She had a close group of friends, teammates, and family who supported her in all her endeavors. Unfortunately, Lauren's promising life was tragically cut short. On the evening of October 22, 2018, the University of Utah campus was forever scarred by an act of violence that could have been prevented. Lauren McCluskey, a 21-year-old track and field athlete, was tragically murdered by her ex-boyfriend Melvin Rowland, a man who had deceived her and manipulated her trust. This devastating event exposed the failures of university officials to respond to her pleas for help, shining a light on the dark side of campus safety, stalking, and relationship violence.
But the only thing that Officer Darris did was download the photos that she provided as evidence to his personal phone for his own enjoyment.
Lauren's trust was betrayed by the officers who were sworn to protect her.
She had begun dating Melvin Rowland, a man she had met through a dating app. What Lauren didn't know at the time was that Rowland had been hiding a dark secret. He was a convicted sex offender who had lied about his identity. His deceit and manipulative behavior would eventually lead to one of the most heartbreaking events in recent history. Rowland, 37 years old at the time, had been registered as a sex offender after being convicted of a 2004 sexual assault charge. However, he presented himself to Lauren as someone entirely different, someone she could trust. The deception went further, as Rowland had even fabricated his age, claiming to be younger than he was. This dishonest facade initially won Lauren over, but when she began to notice troubling behaviors, she decided to end the relationship.
University Police and Security, how can I help you? Hi, this is Lauren. I called a few days ago about a situation, and I wanted to kind of give an update.
When Lauren broke up with Rowland, she never expected him to become obsessed with her. What started as a seemingly normal breakup spiraled into a nightmarish situation of stalking and harassment. Rowland refused to accept the end of the relationship and began to repeatedly contact Lauren, both in person and online. His harassment escalated quickly. He would follow her around campus, show up uninvited to places she frequented, and send her unsettling messages. Despite her efforts to end things, Rowland's actions became increasingly sinister. He stalked Lauren relentlessly, and his behavior soon turned to extortion. He demanded money from her, threatening to expose personal and embarrassing details of their relationship if she did not comply. Lauren was terrified. She confided in her friends and family about the harassment, and she reported Rowland's behavior to the University of Utah campus police multiple times. Each time she was told that they would look into the matter, but no significant action was taken to protect her. She was left to face the increasingly dangerous situation on her own.
It's clear that there were mistakes and shortcomings in that case, and the university's first priority afterwards was to understand what happened and to try to address and fix those problems.
Lauren's parents were deeply concerned for their daughter's safety. They had learned about the stalking and harassment, and they too reached out to the university, urging officials to take the situation seriously. But nothing changed. Campus police and university officials seemed to downplay the seriousness of the situation. They did not offer Lauren the support she so desperately needed, and she was forced to continue facing the threat posed by Rowland, who was becoming more aggressive with each passing day. On the night of her murder, Lauren McCluskey had just finished a long day of classes and track practice. It was supposed to be like any other evening, but instead it turned into the moment that would change her family and the University of Utah forever. Lauren had been on the phone with her mother when the ambush occurred. The terrifying moment was recalled by Jill later, who remembered how the fear in her daughter's voice could be heard as the situation was being described. "The call was actually happening when the ambush took place," Jill said. "It was realized immediately by me that she was in danger. Hope was held that she would be okay, but fear was felt that she might be lost to us." The danger Lauren faced had clearly been recognized by her, but despite her desperate cries for help, assistance was not able to be given in time.
If one of these failures did not occur, Lauren would be alive today.
At a responsible university, when students are harassed, they are not told there's nothing we can do. They are told, how can we help you?
At approximately 9:30 p.m., Lauren was walking toward her car, parked near the university's high-rise housing complex, when Rowland confronted her. Rowland shot Lauren multiple times, killing her in cold blood. The scene was horrific. Lauren, who had been a symbol of strength and perseverance, was lying lifeless on the pavement, a victim of a senseless crime that could have been prevented if only the university had taken her warning seriously. What made the crime even more chilling was the fact that Rowland had planned it meticulously. He ambushed Lauren as she was walking alone in a well-lit area, a common path many students took during the evening hours. He had waited for the perfect moment to strike, and when the moment arrived, he did not hesitate. After murdering Lauren, Rowland fled the scene, knowing that the university's failure to act would make it easier for him to escape. When Lauren's body was discovered, the horror of the crime sent shockwaves through the campus and beyond. For the McCluskey family, the loss of their daughter was unbearable. Lauren had done everything right. She had reported her abuser to the authorities. She had taken steps to protect herself. And yet, the system had failed her. The university's response was swift but inadequate. In the days following Lauren's murder, a public outcry erupted. Students, faculty, and staff demanded answers as to why Lauren had not been better protected, why the university had failed to act on the numerous reports she had made about Rowland's behavior. Many questioned the campus police department's handling of the situation, and some pointed to the broader issues of how universities nationwide handle cases of stalking, relationship violence, and domestic abuse.
Justice for Lauren! Justice for Lauren!
These students are marching for Lauren McCluskey.
I didn't know Lauren personally, but her death was truly tragic for everyone on our campus.
They're also marching to feel empowered.
If I were to be harmed or assaulted in any way, I would have no trust in the process.
The McCluskey family, devastated by their daughter's death, sought justice not only for Lauren, but for future generations of students who could be at risk. They filed a lawsuit against the University of Utah for negligence, arguing that the university had failed in its duty to protect Lauren.
The University of Utah has reached a $13.5 million settlement with the family of slain U of U student-athlete Lauren McCluskey. Today, her loved ones are paying tribute to Lauren and the legacy she left behind.
In a landmark decision, the McCluskeys won a $13.5 million settlement from the university, which was a rare and significant victory in cases involving university negligence. However, the McCluskey family knew that money alone could not bring back their beloved daughter. They were determined to ensure that Lauren's death would not be in vain. Using the settlement money, they established the Lauren McCluskey Foundation, a non-profit organization dedicated to raising awareness about dating violence, stalking, and the failure of institutions to protect victims. The foundation aimed to change the way universities responded to intimate partner violence and to advocate for stronger protections for students across the nation.
Idaho, who named the first indoor track meet after Lauren, we didn't even ask, and then they just did it out of the kindness of their hearts.
One of the foundation's most significant initiatives was the creation of Lauren's Promise, a nationwide pledge aimed at ensuring that professors and university staff would support students experiencing relationship violence. Over 330 universities worldwide signed this pledge, committing to take action when students reported threats of violence. It was a powerful movement, one that Lauren's parents hoped would save lives and prevent other families from experiencing the pain they had endured. In the years following Lauren's death, the University of Utah made significant strides toward improving campus safety. The university's police department underwent a complete overhaul. 93% of the officers who had been on staff during Lauren's murder were either reassigned or let go. Keith Squires, who led the independent investigation into the university's mishandling of Lauren's case, was appointed as the chief safety officer. He emphasized the importance of trauma-informed policing, a shift in culture that prioritized the well-being of victims over traditional law enforcement approaches.
Well, the key standouts were that there just weren't the levels of supervision and engagement at all levels, not only within the police department, but with the police department's interaction with other resources and departments that are available on campus. And so those were...
Under Squire's leadership, the university implemented new protocols aimed at preventing and responding to incidents of stalking and relationship violence. The university also increased its investment in mental health services and support for victims, ensuring that students would have the resources they needed to report and address abuse.
That may include working with our campus safety task force and other appropriate entities to ensure that we are doing all we can to protect our students, staff, faculty, and visitors. This will be an inclusive effort that will involve students, staff, administrators charged with ensuring students' safety.
Lauren McCluskey's death was a tragedy, but it sparked a movement that would forever change the way universities handle issues of stalking, relationship violence, and domestic abuse. Through the Lauren McCluskey Foundation, Lauren's parents were able to create lasting change, and they vowed to continue their fight to ensure that no other family would suffer as they had.
We believe that these changes will build a culture of safety that prioritizes the needs of crime victims and provides them with the full response and support that they need, while recognizing that this is an ongoing process that takes time, resources, and our complete commitment.
On the 6th anniversary of Lauren's death, the University of Utah hosted a series of events in her honor. These events included a self-defense training with SASCO, a 5K charity race called Lauren's Lap, and a dinner event where Josh Mankiewicz of Dateline NBC was presented with the Lauren McCluskey Award for Distinguished Reporting. These initiatives were not only a tribute to Lauren's life, but also a reminder that her legacy would live on in the changes made to protect future students.
We all can do something to make this better, and so a big part of it is the police, but it's also the housing, it's the parents, it's the professors, and the students need to come forward and engage with the police.
Despite the overwhelming grief and pain that came with the loss of their daughter, Jill and Matt McCluskey found solace in knowing that their efforts had made a difference. Lauren's death had opened eyes to the failure of the system, and her parents had worked tirelessly to ensure that her memory would inspire real change in the way institutions handle intimate partner violence and stalking. As Lauren's mother put it, Lauren's legacy, a big part of it, will be that she made a difference for young women to be safer as they go away to college. The fight for justice that began with a mother's grief would go on to protect countless others, ensuring that Lauren McCluskey's death was not in vain.